Alright, y'all, so we got some news earlier today that the Wizards may be looking for a sign and trade when it comes to Davis Bertans and his free agency in this upcoming class. Now, we've gotten news in the past that Bertans is certainly a highly valued free agent this offseason, and there's going to be a lot of contenders and just teams in general looking to sign the Latvian laser. But the Wizards apparently made it clear today that they will be looking for sign and trade opportunities with teams who might not have the cap space to just go out and sign Bertans straight up out of free agency. So because of that, I decided to come up with some trade possibilities with some teams around the league who don't necessarily have a whole lot of cap space, or at least enough to sign Davis Bertans. So, and those three teams that I chose were the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Suns. Now, I know a few of those teams might actually be able to create the cap space, but I'm just going based off of the current rosters and what I think is going to happen in this offseason. And for those who might not be aware of the type of player Bertans is, or you might have just forgotten from the regular season that happened so long ago, Bertans quickly rose as one of the premier three-point shooters in the NBA and rightfully earned the nickname of the Latvian Laser, as he shot over 8 attempts, almost 9 attempts from three-point range in the last season, which puts him at 7th in the entire NBA, so he is shooting them at high volume, and even better than shooting threes at a high volume, he was also making them at high volume, as over the past 2 seasons, Bertans has shot over 42% from 3, which is definitely the level of a marksman. He's also a perfectly fine team defender. You can't exactly ask him of too much on the defensive end, but he can hold his own and has shown that at the forward and center position, he can give you some small ball 5, or you can just hide him away on a team's not so offensively skilled bigs that might find their way on the court. But anyway, getting into the first trade offer I came up with, this one is from the Los Angeles Lakers, reigning champions, and in this one I have them giving up Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, and a first and second round pick for Davis Bertans and Jerome Robinson. Now, looking at the Lakers side of things, obviously bringing on Davis Bertans would probably mean that AD would have to play more 5 this upcoming season, or for as long as they have him. This also probably means that the Lakers are free to get rid of one of JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard, and I think those would be perfectly fine. Like, it's just an Anthony Davis comfort level thing, which I think now that he's won a championship, that issue might be a bit more ironed out than it has in the past. On top of that, Lakers can also get some more guard depth with Jerome Robinson, who's still pretty young, and with the great system the Lakers have shown to have in terms of just player development and making players better than they are, I think Jerome Robinson could easily be a role player on the Lakers and just provide them some solid bench minutes when needed if some starters are out here and there. And then as for the Wizards side of things, you get Danny Green, who had a very poor season and postseason especially for the Lakers this past season, but Danny Green is still a great 3-and-D player. Even if his three-point shot isn't falling, he still gives you above average defense, and although he is up there in age, Wizards aren't necessarily in win now mode. They can eat his contract for 1 year and then potentially move on from him after the season. But they also get Kyle Kuzma, who they would probably hope to re-sign in this case. And Kuzma, although he's not the youngest guy, he does have some potential in him to be a above average 3-and-D type player. His three-point shooting has always been pretty good, and his defense was definitely taken up a notch this past season. So they could use Kyle Kuzma as a starting wing with their current rotation of Wall, Beal, and the rest of the guys. And on top of that, Wizards get the Lakers' first-round pick in this year's draft, and they get another pick later on. Overall, Wizards can get some help now and some help for their future, and the Lakers add a sharpshooter for LeBron to dish and dime to for who knows how long. Moving on to the Nuggets, Nuggets would be getting just Davis Bertans in this trade offer, and what Bertans would bring to the table for the Nuggets is a very good outside shooting threat. You can have Jokic be able to play on the perimeter and do his playmaking as he does, and then when Jokic is also in the post, you can clear out the entire paint for him, as Bertans will supply you with plenty enough shooting and enough that it will definitely put some stress on defenses in terms of sending doubles at Jokic, but then having to choose who to leave open on the three-point line. And overall, he'd just be a great threat to help them spread the floor a bit better. And then for the Wizards, you get Will Barton, who again 3-and-D player, solid guy, still in his prime and can provide some great help to Wall and Beal. You also get Monte Morris to be a great backup point guard, as he's proven to be on the Nuggets these past couple of years. Even in these past playoffs, Monte Morris was a pretty key guy for them in a few games. And for the Nuggets, they're okay getting rid of this because they have PJ Dozier, who has also played well as a backup point guard to Jamal Murray, and they have plenty of other wings, so getting rid of Will Barton isn't necessarily the end of the world. And then the Wizards also get the first round pick from the Nuggets in next year's draft, which is supposedly supposed to be a pretty stacked draft. So again, much like with the Lakers trade, the Wizards in this instance can get some help for now and some help for later in giving up Davis Bertans. And then the final trade offer is with the Suns, and this one's kind of my favorite. Not necessarily that I like the trade most, but just kind of ironic that it's Kelly Oubre getting sent back to Washington after being traded away. And it'll be a nice little reunion for him because he's matured and shown that he can be a starter caliber player in this league. And again, he fits right with the theme as being a good wing player, wing scorer who could play right alongside John Wall and Bradley Beal. I mean, pretty much just as the Wizards front office might have imagined when they drafted Kelly Oubre. But anyway, Wizards also get Ty Jerome to help fill in that backup point guard spot. And Jerome hasn't been the best, but maybe he just needs a little change of scenery. Who knows? As for the Suns, they obviously get Bertans, who can provide a great scoring threat outside of Devin Booker. And again, he just helps spread the floor so much and can provide so many more opportunities for guys like Ayton, who needs to score in the post, or Devin Booker, who can work in the mid-range with a lot more ease, as the help defense will have to be focused on Bertans. I also gave the Suns Mo Wagner in case they might let go of Frank Kaminsky, and it's no sure thing that Aaron Baines will be returning to Phoenix for this upcoming season, so they get some center depth. Honestly, though, if you want to take Ty Jerome and Mo Wagner out of this trade, it still works pretty much the same because the Wizards also get the 10th overall pick in this upcoming draft, which they could definitely get another solid role player to be a young guy and fit with that Rui Hachimura time span, and just in terms of age and production and player development. But they also get another pick later on. Either way, this is another instance where the Wizards can get some help for now in case they want to push for contention, while they also get some help for their later teams down the line in the future. Overall, Davis Bertans is going to be a highly touted player in this offseason, probably going to be at the top of the list in terms of just overall free agent acquisitions, or just acquisitions in general that can help sway some title odds. If a team like the Lakers or Nuggets or even the Suns could get their hands on him, whichever team gets him, they'll definitely have a big boost in terms of their offensive production, and it'll be a scary sight to see Bertans on a contending team. And that will do it for this video. As always, drop your comments down below on what you think about these potential trade options, sign-in trade options, I should say, for Davis Bertans and the Wizards. While you're down there, maybe think about dropping a like or hitting the subscribe button, all that good stuff. But most importantly, thank you for watching.